Made it, Barcelona. We're actually gonna do a food tour today, so that's where we're headed right now. So we're gonna time warp there. So we didn't get to film an outro last night because literally everything died. Like the GoPro died, the phones were dead, the camera was dead, just everything that we brought with us just completely ran out of battery. But so today's the next day. We're about to head out and do a bike tour, which I think is gonna be pretty neat. But last night, wanna recap, it was one of the best food tours that we've been on since we've been out traveling and about. So go ahead and book yourself one with Zoltan. He is an amazing host. He brings you to a lot of great places and you see a lot of the city. So I'm gonna link right below, and here we go, off to our next adventure. So we made it to the spot. We're currently waiting for our bike tour. Nicole lied to me, or lied to all of us. She said we had to be here at 8:30, and now she said we had to be here at 8:40. So I don't really know, but sounds like we're gonna take a train to a van or a bus, and then from the van or the bus, we're gonna get on the bikes and then ride to the wineries. So I just wanted to let you guys know where we were and catch you guys up on what we're doing. So stay tuned.
Yeah, that's really weird. I tell you, usually it's supposed to be super easy to park during the day. Yeah. When you come at 7, 8 in the evening, there is much more people because people come back from work and everything. Mm-hmm. But at this time, it's supposed to be really easy, especially in July, August, where people are on holiday. But this year,
Nobody's on holiday.
Nobody's on holiday. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah.
But they're not here either, you know.
Yeah. Perfect.
And then, have you already used electric bikes?
No, never.
Never? But you'll see. Explain you how this beautiful beast is working. It's wonderful.
We're about to set off on an adventure.
So, this is what I call myself a magic bike. Okay?
Yeah.
Magic bike because here we have the motor, here we have the battery, and here we have the...
A little bit of rain.
Yeah, but we're going there where it's blue, so...
Yeah.
And here's a remote for the assistance. If you want to switch on the assistant, you have to press on the top button here, okay?
Okay.
If the assistant is not on, it's like a normal bike, but it's heavy. This bike is like 22, 23 kilos, while my mountain bike only 14 kilos. Mm-hmm. So to help you, you press on this one. Okay. And then you have two buttons here, minus, plus. Minus, less assistance. Plus more assistance, and you have 4 levels of assistance. Eco, Tour, Sport, and Turbo.
Okay.
Okay? Turbo is like flying. If you do like ET, you know?
Yeah.
ET?
Yeah, ET.
So you want it? Turbo, and that's it. Okay? So then it's like the level of assistance, so you don't have to change it all the time. You basically choose one level of assistance, and it's only assisting you when you pedal.
Okay.
Okay? It's not like a scooter.
Yeah.
It's only assisting you. And of course here you have the gears as any kind of bike. To go down the gear, you push here.
Yep.
And to go up, you push, pull.
Cool.
Okay?
Yeah. We are at our second winery of the wine tour. The host Thomas actually is going to explain how to make wine, the processes that they go through here. But I'm probably going to show that before the first winery, just so it makes a little bit more sense and like what we were doing. I feel like the explanation that Thomas gave was very, very good. So I think that you all would like to see that. You guys would like to know how the wine is made and things like that. But so we're going to cut to the second winery before the first. I know it's kind of out of order, but when he mentions Paul, you'll see Paul once we get to the first winery, technically your second winery, and Paul was the one that was at Servio Winery. He'll be explaining a lot of things, and I did ask him a couple cool questions that everybody's willing to listen to and hear. So I appreciate you guys, and if you guys are still here in the video, make sure you guys are hitting that subscribe button, make sure you hit that like button, and make sure you guys give these guys a shout out, because I'm going to post their link in the bottom, Thomas's bike tours, and honestly, like, this is it. So like without tourism here, it's kind of like putting a damper on a lot of these small companies and small businesses, because we're not allowed to fly, we're not allowed to go places, we're not allowed to see things, we're not allowed to see sights. Without us, they can't survive, and it's making it hard for them to do so. So with people like Thomas, he's going to have to go back to France, and him and his girlfriend, who is Catalan, they're going to go back to France. They're going to stay there for a little bit until, I guess, borders reopen and the season comes back to life, because as of right now, they're just not making enough money to sustain themselves. So for us, we're actually his last bike tour, and there's only 2 of us. It's just me and the wife. So it's been an amazing experience. Thomas has been really, really awesome. And if you guys can, and when you guys do, please come back. Please do come to these amazing places and see people like Thomas, who can give you a great experience in places that you'll never see before, and just riding a bike through a bunch of vineyards, and it's beautiful. It's breathtaking. So hopefully you guys are enjoying it. Hopefully you guys are liking it, and I'll see you guys soon.
Used to make wine for other wineries. So basically 20 years ago this winery was using its grape, but also buying a lot of different grapes to transform the grape into wine and sell the wine in big quantity to other wineries. A little bit like a cooperative. Okay?
So they didn't, remember you were talking about the farms? Were they always a farm, or did they just produce the wine?
They always had some vineyard, but they were also buying some grapes from other farmers.
Okay.
But this means a lot of wine and a really cheap price. So years ago, the winemakers decided to change up strategy, exactly what I was telling you before, and basically only sell the wines in bottle and under the brand Can Descreput. So of course nowadays, as you don't sell wine in big quantity to other wineries, you just sell the wines in bottle under your brand. You sell much less quantity, but of course better quality. Okay? When you're making wine, everything starts in the vineyard. And in the vineyard, of course, you have to work during the full year to make good quality grapes. And when the harvest comes, here is basically end of September, October, you have two main ways to harvest the grapes. And the most commonly used way to harvest a grape is of course the machine. Harvesting machine, I don't know if you've seen one before. It's like a huge machine with a hole in the middle, and the machine goes through the vineyard, shakes the vine, and only the grapes are falling. Okay? So it's really easy, really fast, really cheap, because you need human labor, and really convenient, but you cannot select the grape. Of course you take everything, the machine takes everything, and you can break the grapes in the vineyard. And if the grape break in the vineyard and start making the juice, and this juice stay in a tractor for 1, 2, 3, 4 hours under this heat, you understand that it's not good for the juice. Okay? So here we want to bring full grapes in the winery to only press the grapes when we are in this building. Okay? So to do that, we only do our harvest by hand. So we cut complete clusters of grapes, put the grapes in the basket in the tractor, and the tractor is unloaded here in this big machine that is basically used to separate the stems from the leaves from the grapes. To break the grapes, we don't want to press the grapes yet, we just want to break them, okay? And only the grapes will be transferred in these tubes that are chilled, and the tubes, of course, during the harvest time everything is connected. The tubes will be, and the grapes will be sent to this big press, and this big press are pneumatic press. Pneumatic press, what does it mean? It means inside you have like a balloon, you inflate the balloon, and the balloon press the grapes against the wall. As you can see here, you have a lot of holes. The juice is coming out. Okay? It's like a washing machine with a balloon inside, basically.
Okay.
Okay? And the juice, the most cold at this time, will be transferred into this big tank. Okay? And when you come to the big tank, only now, if we do things well, we start the fermentation. And as Paul was telling you, to make a fermentation, we need two things. We need sugar and we need yeast. The grape itself has a lot of sugar, so we don't need to add any sugar into this tank. But we also need yeast, and as Paul was telling you before, most of the yeast is coming from the skin of the grape. As he was telling you, most of the wineries will use commercial yeast at this time of the process to start the fermentation. Why is that? Because depending on the commercial yeast that you buy, you can define a palette of aromas for your wine. Okay? You have a lot of different yeast and you can define some aromas for your wine. Really easy to completely change the taste of your wine. And also because most of the wineries are not working the organic way, so of course they don't have enough yeast on the skin of the grape. On this winery, as I was telling you, we want to have the taste of the vineyard. But as most of the yeast is on the skin of the grape, here we don't have the skin, we only have the juice. We don't have enough yeast here. So what do?
You buy yeast?
No,
What?
because we want to use our own yeast.
Because you just keep the skin from this when it presses it?
A little bit like this, yeah. So basically a few days before the harvest, we go to the vineyard. We cut some grapes, we press the grapes, and the fermentation will start. The skin and the juice. And this fermentation will grow a population of yeast. So we basically grow a population of yeast, and the same yeast from the same vineyard will be used as a starter for the fermentation. So after first breeding, we make wine, transform the grape into juice, into wine. This is the aging of the wine. But you have to understand that most of the wines consumed in this planet are young wines. Most of the wines will never go through this part of the process. They will go straight from the vine to the bottle and sold in the supermarket. And we make a wine. We make a wine. And to be able to make a cava, we need a second fermentation. To make a fermentation, we need sugar and yeast. Of course, when the wine is ready, there is no more sugar or yeast because everything has been consumed during the first fermentation. So what do? We take this base wine and we add yeast and sugar, and we bottle and we close with a crank. And now happens exactly what was happening in the big tank. The yeast will eat the sugar, create alcohol, and create the gas CO2. As the bottle is perfectly sealed, the CO2 will create pressure and will create bubbles. The bubbles are coming from the natural second fermentation inside the bottle. Okay? If you want to make a cheap sparkling wine, I give you the recipe. Very easy. You take a wine, you put some gas inside, and you have a sparkling wine. On this one, each one of these bottles will have a single fermentation and a single aging that will make the typicity of this method, what we call method champenoise, method of making champagne. It's exactly the same method as making champagne. Okay? So when there is no more sugar for eating, the fermentation stop and the yeast die. And we can see here on each bottle the dead yeast.
Oh yeah.
You see?
Okay.
Interesting.
So this is dead yeast. Dead yeast does not sound really nice. So here it's called mother of cava. Mother of cava.
Mother cava.
Yeah. My only explanation is because this mother is very important for the aging of the cava. So the mother is very important and has to be here. Okay?
Oh yeah.
So to be able to call your sparkling wine a cava, your bottle has to stay in this flat position during at least 9 months. It has to stay here 9 months. To be a reserva cava, minimum 15 months. To be a grand reserva cava, minimum 30 months.
Oh.
But as here we make only quality cava, we only make reserva and grand reserva. We don't make any young cavas. But most of the production of cava is of course young cava. But here we bet on quality. Okay?
They're more expensive though, huh? The natural wines?
Yeah, a little bit more expensive,
Yeah.
of course. Because, yeah, they are much more niche. We do a lot less bottles of them, right? So, of course, we'll have to cover the costs. And yeah, they are much more like higher risk, high reward kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
So, which will make them more expensive most of the time, yeah. But yeah.
Have you guys been affected by COVID and tourism?
In tourism, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, so last year with him, right, we had like every day we had a kind of group here. This year he's come like not so many, and we still have some visits for ourselves, of course.
Yeah.
But you know, it's like maybe like 5-10% of what we had last year.
Okay.
Like max.
Yeah.
So it's like a huge
Difference.
effect.
Yeah.
Hopefully next year we'll have a better year
Yeah.
for tourism as well. But just it's also for the grapes themselves. I told you we have like this disease called mildew,
Yeah.
which is affecting us a lot this year. Some people actually lost like 70% of what they had, as much as that, right? So it's like a really important disease that doesn't kill the plant at all, right? But it affects a lot the production of the plant. Yeah. So that means that usually we have a little bit better production since the plant can focus on the grapes that state in a sense. So you can increase a little bit the quality, but the quantities like drop dramatically in a sense. So.
Oh, you'll find out more in September.
Yeah.
Yeah, gosh.
Yeah, it will depend. We have like this last month we have like any like blizzards, I believe, which like little drops of like ice that can come from the sky. During nights, sometimes that happens. That's not usual, but it can happen. It can damage the production even further. Usually that doesn't happen in August, but maybe like early September, stuff like that, where the temperatures drop a little bit. Before you actually harvest things, you can have those things, and you can just lose the entire thing, right? And since we are based, of course, on having our own vineyards, it affects us a lot more than people who just buy them, right? So if you just, you don't have vineyards, you just vinificate. The year that there's no production, maybe you don't buy, and that you don't have that expense.
Yeah.
We have that expense every year, no matter what. So and since we are farmers as well, right? So that's important.
Yeah.
So it's been pretty hard to vlog because one, we're wearing masks all day. It's super hot and it's against the law here to take your mask off. So right now, hopefully you guys can hear us, or hopefully you guys can hear me. Nicole's not really talking much, she doesn't like talking to me, but any trucks going by. But as we walk, you can see like the city is pretty beautiful. There's actually not a lot of people here anymore because the tourists cannot come here. So it's actually putting a burden on the city itself because there's no way for them to get any tourism, which means there's no money. So if you guys are able to, I would highly suggest you guys come down to Barcelona and see the sights because it's beautiful down here. So right now we're heading over to the Gothic, what is it, the church?
Yeah, Barcelona Church.
The Barcelona church. So next time we catch up with you guys, we'll probably be there. made it to the church. We had a couple other things we're gonna do in Barcelona, probably tomorrow, do like a little bike tour or whatever. But from here on out, I guess we'll show you some things as we see them. And if you have any questions or any comments, and comment right below and see what we did, and ask some questions about what you can do and what you can't do. And if you plan on taking trips out here, just make sure that you're being safe. So see you guys in a little bit. Thanks everybody for tuning in. I just want to let you know that Barcelona has been amazing. We did a couple food tours, we did a couple winery bike tours, we traveled the city, we experienced a lot of things. So if you haven't subscribed already, please do so and hit that bell. Thank you from all of us here in Barcelona, and stay safe and stay traveling. Thank you.